Greetings, everyone. Thank you for listening, watching. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome back. You've been before. I woke up this morning, bright sunny day. I woke up this morning thinking I need to dig into an aspect of the self, of the I am, that I haven't mastered, or something that I've been contemplating working on that wasn't quite clear and firm. So what I decided was that cause mind, something I haven't practiced in a while. Cause mind. What is cause mind? Let me start by saying if this is your first time on my channel, what this channel is dedicated to is ancient knowledge and wisdom. Okay, what is that? Right? It's a very, very complex subject. And the type of person that I am, I like to dig into the details of the thing. I don't like just a simple overview. I like to dig in and go in and understand how it works and why, all these things. Okay, so when I started doing that with the ancient knowledge and wisdom, I realized there was no bottom, or at the time I felt there was no bottom, that I'm just learning lesson after lesson after lesson and trying to understand and like, what does this mean? Okay, if you are a reader of the Bible or any spiritual book, you probably ask yourself, is this a real story? Am I just reading the story about people's lives, or is there a lesson? And in these stories, what's the lesson? So, after many, many, many years of study, trying to break this stuff down, I realized over time, I developed a template using only 4 concepts or laws or rules or whatever word you want to use to explain them. I'm going to call them laws in this video. Okay, these 4 concepts derive from ancient, nobody knows how old, not 6,000, not anything less than 6,000 years. I'm talking millions. All right. Now, as I continued my research into the depth of this ancient knowledge and wisdom, this template became 4 laws, mainly, or only, the Paut Neteru of ancient Kemet, the 12 disciplines of mind that are represented in the Bible. That's not the source of it. Its source is, we'll get into source. It's represented in the Bible beautifully. The 7 universal laws, sometimes called the 7 natural laws of the universe, and the 7 cosmic laws of the universe, made famous to me, brought to my attention in Rosemary Clark's book. Now, using these 4 laws, using these 4 concepts, I've been able to explain every aspect of life. There's nothing that escapes it. The first of these concepts that I learned was there's 7 natural laws, about 24 years ago. Now, over the years, more and more of these source material became aware to me, and after accepting them for what they were, was learning how to use them in my everyday life. So that's what this channel is about. How I use these 4 disciplines, these 4 laws, the concepts, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to call them laws, like I said. I've learned to use these 4 laws, these 4 concepts, to understand every aspect of life, from music, movies, anything dealing with science, biology, chemistry, physics, physiology. Yes, physiology. Everything dealing with every aspect of life can be identified using these 4 sources. The Paut Neteru, 7 cosmic laws, the 12 disciplines of mind, 7 natural laws of the universe. Application and why. Let's start with the natural laws, since that was the first thing that I was kind of really introduced to. One of the natural laws is the law of cause and effect. Law of cause and effect says that for every effect, there is a cause. For every cause, there is an effect. Every effect is cause, every cause is an effect. Simple law, infallible law. Anybody can understand this law. But there's usually a barrier that people will put up when trying to assess this law and analyze this law. They'll say, yeah, we know some causes, but other causes we don't know. So those causes we don't know are random. There's no causes for them. That would be a mistake to come to that conclusion. If you know the wind blows and you can feel the wind on your face, you can't see it, but you know there's something happening there. You can see the effect of the wind. If you say there's no cause for wind because you can't see the cause, other people are quite aware. They know exactly what causes wind. They study it and experience it on a level that a lot of us don't care to do. But there is a cause for wind. Simple cause for wind. We cannot say that because we don't know the cause that it's random. It has no cause. To say something is random is to say it has no cause. It's just chance. It's just a chance event. That would be an error in the thinking. In science, we study genetics, DNA. One of the lessons when you're learning DNA is that some DNA has function. The majority of it has no function. You know, what arrogance, right? But that's what they teach in biology. Okay, and what do they call those DNA, those sections of DNA where they don't understand the cause or purpose or meaning? They call it junk DNA. What arrogance. But it is what it is. All there is consciousness, right? There's consciousness. Consciousness is cause. Consciousness is source. Effect is the product of consciousness. That's the law of cause and effect. To understand an effect requires a level of understanding in consciousness. Well, consciousness is the understanding. To dig into source mind requires an understanding of consciousness. Okay, because consciousness is source. So our duty in life, if we're seeking to understand life, is to understand cause mind and effect mind. Understand the world of consciousness versus the world of effects, what we call the real world. Now, looking at the Paut Neteru, we can represent this. This would be the Geb mind would be the effect mind, the physical world. That's all effect. That's all the result of source mind. Source mind would be Amen on the Paut Neteru. Okay, if you look at the 7 natural laws, what's number one? Law number one, law of mind. Law of mind. That's the essential, that's the starting point. Once you understand law of mind and everything is a function of mind or consciousness, then you're on the right path. I've heard from different people that the real world, the Geb world is not the real world. That the Amen mind, and what I refer to as Amen, some of you may call the creator mind. Some may call it Jehovah. Some may call it the I am, the that, whatever that is. The faceless, formless energy of all things, consciousness, highest level of consciousness. Some may call it Buddha. Some may call it Allah. Whatever your word is. My word is Amen. I accept all understandings because you're right. Whatever you say it is, you're right. Okay, so Amen mind, and then for me, Geb mind. So now, which one is the real world? Real world is all. Your understanding of that, you use it as you desire. Okay, you use it as you desire. For me, I choose to use Amen as source mind, and I use Geb as the reflection. Which one is the real world? They're both real world. What does law of mind say? Law of mind says all is mind. Okay, so then if mind is all, then all is real. But anyway, yeah, if all is mind, then all is real. Mastery of both worlds is a requirement, and you have these bodies, these physical bodies in Geb. Mastery of life is the understanding what Geb is, understanding real world, physical world. and above world. It's our duty. When we're locked into the Geb world, we're locked into the world of effect. We have no control of life. Now, having said that, I got to clarify. Because we are all masters of manifestation, whether we accept that or not. We're always operating in Amen mind. It's just that with objective mind, with effect mind, we don't know the source, or we're ignorant of the source of what's causing what's happening in our life. Taking control of Geb mind, cause mind, objective mind, effect mind, taking control of it is taking responsibility, accepting responsibility for everything that's happening in your life, taking responsibility and saying, let's dig into the source of what's causing what's happening in my life, whether you consider that thing a great thing or whether you consider that thing a not so great thing. To say, I don't know what's happening in my life is to say, I'm operating on effect. I'm operating randomly. Okay? It's operating on conditions. Operating on condition is not operating in source mind. And we're taught our lives from babyhood to elderlyhood. We are taught and we live our lives based on condition. Right? We make the effect the source. And when we make the effect the source, we lose control of the life. Because the effect world, although, and I'll talk about this, when effect is the source, then there's a condition. What produced that effect that you based your life on? To give a simple example of source versus cause mind is to say, I want to be a businessman. I want to be an entrepreneur. It's just an example. But I can't be a businessman. Okay, but I can't be a businessman unless I have an MBA. And we make our own conditions, because like I said, we're always operating in source mind, although we don't know it. So we'll make that cause, having that MBA degree, a condition to being a businessman. Okay? We may say, I want to take a vacation at the end of the year. But if I don't have enough money, I'm not going to be able to go to where I really want to go. So if I have the money that I need, that I think I'm going to have, I'm going to go place A. If I don't have that money, I'll go to place B. Okay, having that plan B. So you may say, well, it's irresponsible not to consider what may happen. You need to be prepared for the unexpected because, you got to have money for a rainy day, right? And if you're not doing those things, if you're not considering the things that could happen, that's not being prudent. That's not being smart. That's irresponsible. Okay, that's how we're taught. What does that sound like? That sounds like having no faith in your A, in your plan A. Okay, that means you're operating in GEP. You're operating in the effect world. You're operating in objective mind. You're operating on conditions. I can go on and on and on and on. Law, cause, and effect. Okay, law, cause, and effect. You don't gain control of your life until you're operating in source mind. No condition. Okay, no conditions means no conditions. No consideration for time. Well, it takes 4 years to get a degree. It takes 4 years. Really? That's a condition. That's a condition. In the world of source mind, in the I am mind, there's no concept of time. There are no conditions. If you want to live your life in the Amen mind, ask yourself, am I putting any condition on this thing that I say I want? Now, with the effect mind, there is a gestation time, or there could be. You're the determining factor in that. Gestation time. How long should it take for the thing that I say I want? How long will it take to come to fruition? That's up to you. If you're operating in if you're operating in subjective mind, the gestation time is up to you. What I like to do in my meditation, and what I did this morning, is I was examining everything that I say I want to happen, and eliminating any gestation times. In cause mind, once you say you want the thing, the processes for that thing coming to fruition, being manifested, have already begun. Step one is operating and recognizing source mind. Okay? If you can say the thing that you want is not dependent on any condition, including space and time, you're operating in source mind. Because without going there first, you can't have the effect. Okay, so when do you have the thing? You have the thing when you accept it in source mind. This is a big lesson for me, and this is why this was part of my meditation this morning, because I bounce back and forth. I bounce, and I'm trying to stay in source. When I say stay in source, I mean operate from source mind rather than conditional by it. Rather than say, well, I'd love to have this, but in order for me to have that, this needs to happen. We have to separate what is what. Is this effect or is this cause? Am I operating in effect world? Am I operating in cause world? If you're operating in the effect world and not aware of source mind, you make the source the effect, and your life is dependent on effect. And oftentimes those effects that we're using for source is somebody else's effect. You see the problem with this, right? If you're watching a lot of TV, if you're listening to a lot of people without understanding of law, and that's what I'm hoping to impart in my channel, on the videos on my channel, is to gain the knowledge and wisdom to be able to analyze what's necessary and what we're being introduced to in order to live the lives that we want to live, and not leaving it up to chance. All right, I made this video a little bit longer than I wanted to make it, but I put a lot in there, and I could talk about this topic for forever and ever and ever and ever, and only scratch the surface. But I want to leave you with another example of how we accept effect world as the normal world, and we accept randomness as a part of life because it's just too painful, it's too difficult, and requires too much energy. This is what people tell themselves. It requires too much energy to go beyond and to classify everything, which is why I only use 4 sources in trying to explain all aspects of life. That's the reason, to keep it simple. But I do enjoy going beyond, and I go beyond, but I never leave these 4 sources. Everything is always being compared to that. Okay, one of the lessons that I'm teaching my kids right now, some of my online students in science, is the concept of pseudoscience. Okay, the educated, and you can classify that however you want, especially in the science community, like to say, if you can't see it, it ain't real. All right, if you can't see it, it ain't real. If you can't do an experiment on it and see results, it's pseudoscience. And trying to get my students, and they're 14-year-olds, 12-year-olds, trying to get them to understand the concept of pseudoscience has been challenging. And I realized that's exactly where I was for most of my life, right? What's real? What's real is what you can see. Usually what you can see is effect. Okay, that's an effect. Thought, can't see thought. You can see the manifestation of the thought. You can see the effect of the thought. So does that mean thought's not real? No, it does not. Okay, so now why does science have this thing? Okay, when you look at let's look at the scientific method. When as a biology student, that's the first thing I learned. at a nice university. I won't name it, but you know who it is, the real issue. But the university that I went to, and this is not typical, it's not an isolated incident or isolated occurrence. Universities, in biology, you learn the scientific method. Looking at the scientific method, you see that in order to even conduct the scientific method experiment, has to be based on an observation. What's an observation? Something you can see. So if you can't see it, you can't do an experiment. So that's anything you can't do an experiment on is pseudoscience in their mind. If the foundation of science is built on this, so that, you're standing on a weak foundation. What allowed me to exceed in science was my understanding of natural law. I sailed through university in biology and chemistry just on my understanding of natural law, which is why I teach it in my school, online and my physical school. All right? This gives you control over your life. What I'm saying in this video, everything I'm saying in this video. Being able to separate cause and effect, being able to separate objective mind from subject, from conditional mind to unconditional mind. Use this video, information in this video, as you see fit. I'm hoping, my unconditioned hope is for you to gain control of your life. If you feel stress, if you feel any negative emotion, that's an effect. Okay? If you take away anything from this video, take away this, and that's just why I'm saying it last. If you feel any negative emotion, including any depressive thought, that's an effect. Usually, I want to say always, but I won't do that. Usually, having those negative emotions and feelings is the result of an effect. In your journey to happiness, is to identify what's causing you to have those feelings of depression, those feelings of stress, negativity. What's the source? That requires knowledge, that requires study, practice, meditation, all of these things. If you look at those negative emotions as a gauge, same as you would see when you're in your car and the gauges are telling you different information about your car, about your vehicle. Our emotions are our gauges to let us know when we're not operating in the mind that we need to operate in. We feel stressed because we can't control the situation. Not being able to control the situation produces stress. Not being able to control the situation means you're operating from an effect that you don't and haven't been able to identify what the cause is. Once you operate at the cause level, you can change the effect. Right? So that your journey, whether you're feeling happiness or you're not feeling happiness, will always be, am I operating in consciousness, the highest level of mind? Our connection to our highest self has no barriers. It has no conditions. Your consciousness is your connection. You're already connected. You're there. But the problem we learn to live by, and we learn to live by this problem, is we don't learn how to live in source mind. Start at law of mind, source mind. Start at Amen, source mind. Number one on the 12 laws of discipline, first one is faith. Faith in what? Faith in the source. Simon Peter, 12 disciplines of mind, says you ignore any thought that can affect your world. Eliminate it. You gotta have rock solid thinking. And that rock solid thinking is the faith. Faith in source. Faith in your I amness. All right? I'm forcing myself to end this video at this point. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, peace and love, my peoples.